Want to know some bad games? Well, you're in the right place. Hello everyone, it's Cheap Noise in the house, and we're counting down the top 20 worst games of all time. Now before we start, I have to say that I didn't make this list alone. I talked about it with many people that are connoisseurs of the genre, if there's such a thing as a connoisseur of electronic games. And to be quite honest, I don't necessarily agree with some of these picks, but let's go anyway.
20.
I Took a Lickin' from a Chicken. This game was outdated even when it came out. It tried to cash in with the Merlin and Simon trend that was 12 years earlier. Also, might I just add, we didn't need a chicken Simon. And what on earth is that chicken noise? It sounds more like a broken computer than a chicken. Also, today they have a lot of issues because, of course, they're motorized. So do I want to get a licking from a chicken? No. Just no.
I Took a Lickin' from a Chicken. 4C batteries not included. New from LJN.
19.
Super 12. Alright, let's get something straight. There are not 12 games in there. In most games, you have to repeat a sequence of sound effects. But you might not be able to, because the sound effects are longer than a standard length TikTok video. It's not often I'll say this, but they had too much memory to work with. But fear not, if you can't repeat the sequence, just hit the start button and the sequence will repeat as many times as you want. Plus, some game modes in here, if you go too far, it'll crash the entire game and you'll have to reset it. Super 12 is not super at all.
18.
Silly Sausage Active. So, they tried to bring back the Silly Sausage, but the Silly Sausage was still in stores. It tried to keep kids active, but how can it do that when it doesn't even know the difference between jumping and running?
17.
The Movie Buppets. Yes, I'm counting more than 10 games in one space, because literally, it's just one game. Since 2015, they've been rehashing the same game into a different novelty that wears off before even getting back home. Plus, this game, or should I say these games, are way too easy. Seriously, I bet you could complete all Movie Buppets in less than half an hour. The games work, sometimes, other times the controls are so atrocious you can't even play them. So don't waste your AAA batteries in the junk Hasbro calls a game.
16.
Bootleg Buppet Keychain. Yes, as you can see, I didn't find an ad for this one. This atrocity has been going around Amazon for more than a year now, and it clearly doesn't deserve to be there. Now, the game works, but it only goes up to 50, the sound quality is terrible, and it might just break into half if you touch it too hard. Seriously, if you want a Buppet, just get a Buppet.
15.
Bird Brain. Again, I didn't find an ad for this one. If we base this list only on annoying games, this would probably win it. It's an annoying game with an annoying voice that frustrates you with annoying hints. It's just frustratingly annoying. If you like this sort of game, buy a Milton instead. It's way better than this.
14.
Steer Crazy? Oh, come on. Apparently, it's got a generic voice, a cheap design, and it doesn't really know if it wants to be a Buppet or a Simon. I don't know, I kinda like it. Of course, it's way too short, but other than that, it's pretty good.
13.
Wobble Deck Extreme. What's the ultimate goal in an electronic game? To get a high score, of course. Well, in this game, high scores don't mean nothing, and scores don't mean nothing. Apart from that, the design is super cheap, and the gameplay is generally really boring. Plus, it's got the worst music mode I've ever seen on pretty much anything.
12.
Flash Cube. First off, this game is way too big for what it expects you to do. The buttons are way too hard to press, and probably won't register. Furthermore, the modes on here don't really utilize the cube shape that well, so for once, I can say the knockoffs are way better than the original.
11.
Ultra Dash. Let's get it out of the way first. If you're blind, there's no way you'll be able to play this. Yep, there's no voice here to speak of. Plus, the music is only 2 seconds long. Plus, the music is only 2 seconds long. Plus, the music is only... Yeah, it's annoying. Get this, you have to press a button for the game to randomize the targets. The game doesn't have the decency to be random on its own. To be honest, it feels more like a bootleg than a reboot. But don't worry, the new Hyper Dash that just came out is way better than this. So get that instead. So far, we've seen a lot of stinkers. But as Batchman Turner Overdrive once said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready for...
Round 2.
10.
Beep Blast. Okay, I didn't really pick this one, and it kind of hurts to put it on the list. But it's such an amazing concept, executed really badly. Motion sensors and rhythm games don't go together. The yellow bash commands doesn't work half the time. The phrase you'll say the most often while playing the game is, "Why did it not work?" Sorry to say, I don't really recommend it.
9.
Bop It Refresh, or new moves, whatever you want to call it. First of all, Bop It buttons should be buttons. Other than that, the game relies on a very unreliable motion sensor. If you don't know the exact position and the exact movements to do for every move, you're screwed. Also, the moves are introduced way too quickly. This game is difficult for all the wrong reasons. And Cradle It. Oh my god, Cradle It. I'm telling you, I don't want to cradle anything ever again. Avoid motion sensors next time. Wait, is that just a micro? Oh my god, we're doomed either way.
8,
Paddle Bop. Again, I didn't find any commercial for this one. And again, I don't necessarily agree about this one. But basically, this is just a Simon with only 2 inputs, so pretty much no replay value. Plus, this might be the absolute worst sounding electronic game of all time. This game is rare, and according to some, it should stay that way.
7,
Slaps. The solo mode is just pointless, and the multiplayer mode doesn't even work. Pair this with the unintuitive design and the bad control, and you have a recipe for disaster. Number 6, Kiss My Bass. This game doesn't have the decency to keep score or even to ever end. Plus, the jokes fall flat so quickly. This game doesn't have replay value or even play value for that matter. And not to be nitpicky here, but it's based on the button that doesn't even work for the game. This big mouth bass should hang on the wall of shame, just like the other one.
5,
Zoom Cube. This is an unbelievable buggy mess. Half of the games on here you can't even complete. Plus, it has horrible build quality. Heck, the power switch flies off when you change the batteries. And of course you have to get it back, because if not, you can't turn the game on. Plus, I bought 3 and 2 of them, brand new, were faulty. Yeah, I put this game on this list and I'm not ashamed of it. Heck, I would have put it number 1. I'm telling you, this game sucks more than a giant space wormhole. Fuck this game.
4,
No-brainer. Yeah, of course that last game is a no-brainer. Again, cool concept, but bad execution. And again, the game works with an unreliable motion sensor. Plus, the questions repeat themselves way too often, and the 2 games it has are basically the same.
3,
Topple Off. For some games, it's the horrible design, but for this, it's the horrible gameplay. Picture a hyperdash with an absurd difficulty curve. A hyperdash that gives you nonsensical commands like no corners for circle or lemon for yellow. And I forgot to mention that you have to balance an orb while playing. This is just a bad game all over.
Topple off for my deal.
2,
Hands Full. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is a dumpster fire of a game. All revisions of this game are buggy as hell, and the most common one has straight up unplayable games. Heck, have you ever seen a game that asks you to grab yellow and then penalizes you for grabbing yellow? Me neither. Except for this one. This is broken as all hell.
number 1,
Giddy Up! What if you took the convoluted controls of the Bop It Refresh, with the annoying voice of the Bird Brain, with the unplayable nature of Hands Full? Well, you get Giddy Up. The only mode it has is virtually unplayable, and the controls work, I'd say, 5% of the time. And of course, the voice is unbearably annoying. So congratulations, Giddy Up! You are the worst game of all time. So that's it for this video. So thank you so much to everyone who contributed in this list, and thank you for watching.